What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe. We are finally talking about Mesa today. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's break it down pretty quickly. I'll get you some details here, but if you want real like heavy details on anything, feel free to ask some questions. Check out Wiki. Go ahead, check out the Warframe forums, obviously, because there's just many places to get this type of information. In terms of this, but we're going to break down this stuff pretty quickly here based off of how I'm playing it, how I like to build it. In terms of abilities, the ballistic battery to me is a useless ability. I know that it does a 70% damage percentage, but I just have not found a use for it, even with sniper or charge type weapons. Though I know it's there, it needs, for me at this time during this video, it still needs to be buffed in order for it to work well. In terms of the ones I'm going to utilize the most, shooting gallery, you will see me utilizing all the time, this is going to be affected by strength, duration, and range. And basically what this does is creates a lasso that swings around her and increases her weapon damage by up to 25% during this time. The lasso will periodically lash out at enemies with a beam of energy within roughly 16 meters, up to 16 meters, and it will jam their weapons and or stun them if, say, they are melee or infested. And the lasso, of course, is based off of duration time, so the longer duration you have, the longer that it will last for you. Okay, so that is like her key thing, and what it does is when their weapons are jammed, and they will stand in place for about 6 to 7 seconds. So you've got some time to shoot them, you've got some time to melee them, you've got them in a position where you can take full control and basically CC the environment if you're doing it good enough. Okay, along with that, Shatter Shield. Shatter Shield is a really nice one. It envelopes Mesa in a barrier of energy, reflecting back incoming bullet damage. So you've got power strength, you've got duration on here. Okay, what's nice about this is because the enemies that do not fall into the shooting gallery range, okay, affected by a range mod, will have the Shatter Shield to kind of help protect you a bit in terms of taking incoming damage. So it reduces the incoming damage from bullets and projectiles up to, you can actually get it up to 95%. If you've got the power strength mods all set up on there, and it will reflect damage back to the attackers at reflecting 25% of the actual damage, and that's not affected by power strength. What's affected by the power strength is the actual damage reduction that you take, but the actual damage going back is still going to be 25% no matter what you do. The duration, of course, it's affected by power duration, so that's important to keep in mind there. Status effects will go back towards enemies as well, so if you get hit with a status effect, it will go back to them. Okay, and then finally we've got Peacemaker. Peacemaker obviously is set off on strength and range. Range is locked in 50 meters. I do not seem to see a way to change that range. The range is not affected by the power range mod, but the damage multiplier is affected by power strength, and it has its own slash, puncture, impact, and its own critical rate and critical chance. I don't know what the actual calculations are on in there. I don't think anybody really knows what they are, but so it does its own type of damage. But what's really nice is you drop it down, you're going to stand your ground, you're going to shoot these off. They have 100% auto target, if you will. It's 100% accurate up to the 50 meters, like I was saying. So only line of sight up to 50 meters, but sometimes it does feel a little bit OP. I don't like to use it and like leave it on. I like to utilize it for as fast as I need it when we're in that type of situation, and then I turn it right off. And the main reason we do that is because this is going to be based off of your energy costs for the ultimate. So activating it will take your energy, so definitely important to have proficiency on here. Energy Siphon will deactivate while the Peacemaker is channeled, and Trinity's Energy Vampire will not work for you while it's channeled. However, we've tested it multiple times in the past, and we know that if you utilize this with, say, Limbo, you can keep energy coming in, not so much where she's gaining energy back while utilizing, but so that way there's not as much of a drain on her. Just keep that in mind. So if you're running with a team, that is a nice thing to have. And as well, Finally, the team of the shooting gallery, which I should mention, shooting gallery will take your duration time, and it will actually split it between the teammates that are on the team. So it will go from teammate to teammate. You'll see that in the upper right corner where the player numbers are now when they get the buff of the shooting gallery. So if you've got a 40-second shooting gallery, you've got 4 teammates. Each of you are going to hold the shooting gallery on you for 10 seconds. The build that I'm running now is based off of, I've got 2 builds. I've got one that is focused mostly on solo, and then one that is focused on team-based playing. And that team-based focus is utilizing the muzzle flash, and we will talk about that in the next video. I wanted to split those up so it was easier to talk about. So let's get right over to the build so that way you can see what's going on. Alright, so my Mesa build. Let me actually put this over to the standard. As you can see, I'm starting to put in primed mods to my current build that I was playing in the game before, but what we're going to do is we're going to look at it just as it would be normal until I get that all done. That requires more forma and all that crap. So it's a real simple setup for me. There's a few different things you could do, but for the most part, what we've got here and this is mostly how I run this is going to be mostly for soloing, if you will, because, well, I mean, obviously team-based, and that's, you know, with the shooting gallery, but soloing mostly because then you can keep your shooting gallery on yourself at all times. So of course steel charge goes in here, important for me. I didn't need to change to energy siphon, and I wanted to keep steel charge for the melee because she's a really good melee frame, especially when you are using shooting gallery. You can, you know, get the melee kills in pretty easily, so I felt like this was the better thing to keep on here, so I'm using steel charge. Now in terms of obviously efficiency, we need efficiency, so a max streamline, partially maxed fleeting expertise, and this is going to give me 70%, and we know the cap is 75%, so I've got 70% in terms of efficiency, and that's going to help me out with the Peacemaker. I've got continuity on here at 30%. Obviously that's offsetting the duration on the fleeting expertise, but we still get enough here that we do fine for ourselves, and if you are with teammates, you do fine with them as well, especially with the new feature, so you can see where it's actually at. Now of course we've got flow. She doesn't have a large power pool, only a 300 at max, so you want to make her, it's 300 with the flow mod on here, so you want to make sure that you've got that on there. I'm running just Intensify on here instead of Blind Rage. I did have Blind Rage, but like I said, I need to have the efficiency for the Peacemaker, so we're going to go with a Intensify here. You could put Transient Fortitude in, but again, you're going to ruin your you're going to ruin your duration, and you really need duration if you're going to run the shooting gallery. So we're going to use Intensify for now. Upon further working with her, I will probably change that, but that'll be inside of the config A build down the road, and of course I'd update everybody. And I'm running Vitality Redirection maxed out here, and Stretch for the range on this. Not so much the range on it with Peacemaker, but more for the range of the shooting gallery, and as you know, that shooting gallery is what I like about this one most. So it is actually a pretty simple build overall in the end, and she can run anywhere, anytime, and do everything, solo, non-solo, however you want to put her. And then stay tuned, because I will go ahead and eventually, once I've put more forma into her and change things around, come out with a more advanced build. But right now you can see I'm starting with the prime flow and prime continuity, and then in the next video on Mesa I will show you and we will talk about the muzzle flash mod, augment mod, and how we rework that into the build and make that useful as a team-based thing. So if you have any comments or questions, please do feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.